You are now tuned in to My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. From goons to gods, we welcome everyone. We only have one rule, and that's be respectful. You are now tuned in to My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. Goons to gods, we welcome everyone. We only have one rule, and that's be respectful.
Holla at us next week, man.
No doubt, man, and definitely shout out to the family, liberationmindedmedia.net. That is Black Eye Stand, Do the Knowledge Radio, The Rundown with Renee, and My Skin is My Sin. Oh, and don't forget to share the show, man. If you check it out today, or if you check it out next week, or if you check it out in 1,000 years, and if you are that motherfucker that digs us up in 1,000 years, you are the most phenomenal individual to ever walk the galaxy for digging up this greatness and still share our shit, man. Shout out to you. Don't forget to check out the websites, emeraldshell.com, designsbymonet.com, and myskinismysin.net.
Yeah. Trust God. Trust God. Trust God. I ain't really feeling the day. I'm in my feelings today. Gotta mash on them, gotta smash on them just to go get me some pay. Bust my ass on it, spend my last on it, everything slipping away. I get my earn up before I burn up whenever I'm feeling the flame. You niggas thinking this a game. I ain't playing with them, I ain't staying with them, I ain't friends with them, I ain't mans with them. I'm a cock and let the can hit them. Get the paper, that's the plan, nigga. I just hope you understand, nigga. We can say, I told your ass, I showed your ass, expose your ass. I'm in my spot. Niggas can't take what I got. They can grab what I have. Niggas can plot. That'll never make me stop. That's gonna put me on your ass, and I'ma come through in the worst way. And I'ma do you on your worst day. Niggas will come to your visual, but never come through on your birthday. People can't fuck with my spiritual, cause I be in tune with the earth say. And people be calling me lyrical, cause they be in tune with the wordplay. Now me and my nigga, we talk about paper. That paper, we talking about bodies. And bodies be popping up every time we get to talking. Now we get money inside of my youngin'. He coming, no talking. He yellin' and chalking. We know that he know to get violent. He put in that work right on the front of his shirt and say, I'm about to catch me a body. Ain't what it seeming. I'm heavy, I'm smoking, I'm drinking, I'm popping, I'm rolling, I'm leaning. Eat it, I'm steaming. War wounds still bleeding. I went to war with them demons. I really seen it. I wasn't watching on no zenith. I was out there on the semen. Victim was bleeding. Best friend caught him sleeping. Cold world up in Cleveland. I've been stabbed too many times to let my guards down. Yeah. So I put my trust in God now. It's gonna be the devil in your clique to bring your squad down. Yeah. So I put my trust in God now. I've been stabbed too many times in the back to let my guard down. Yeah. So I put my trust in God now. It's gonna be the devil in your clique to bring your squad down. Yeah. So I put my trust in God now. I ain't really feeling the day. I'm in my feelings today. Gotta mash on them, gotta smash on them just to go get me some pay. Bust my ass on it, spend my last on it, everything slipping away. I get my earned up before I burn up whenever I'm feeling the flame. Now me and my brother, we talk about paper. That paper, we talking about cheddar. That cheddar keep coming in every time we get to talking. So now we get money together. My youngin', he coming, he hungry. We know that he on it. We know that he down for whatever. He put in that work. Now when he go to the store, he gon' copy him 100 or better. Ain't what it seeming. He heavy, he smoking, he drinking, he popping, he rolling, he leaning. Heated, he steaming. War wounds still bleeding. He went to war with them demons. He really seen it. He wasn't watching on no zenith. He was out there on the scene. Victim was bleeding. Best friend called him sleeping. Cold world up in Cleveland. I been stabbed too many times to let my guards down. Yeah. So I put my trust in God now. It's gonna be the devil in your clique to bring your squad down. Yeah. So I put my trust in God now. Too many times, God down. Yeah. God down. Devil in your clique down. Yeah.
What's good, fam? This is Jobs, and you are tuned into My Skin is My Sin. Live streaming on Facebook. Trying to get the YouTube up and going, but for some reason it's taking its sweet time. So if we can't. Still dope, man. We should be having Minister Enqi call up in a little bit. So you know how we do, man. We already on Facebook. We already on Twitch. We on Twitter. So you can still check us out there, and I'll upload it to the YouTube later if necessary. But shout out to you, man. Shout out to your family. Do us a favor, man. Since we just on Facebook, share it with somebody. And how was your day? And if we have any audio issues, let me know, please. I would greatly appreciate that. If there's something you would like to ask, we're not really gonna take too many calls tonight, if any at all. But we just gonna build with the king, and hopefully, somebody gets something from the conversation, and that would be pretty fucking dope. So, just waiting on the plug to call up. And if this is your first time checking us out, man, we don't really talk about shit for the first 15 minutes anyway, to keep it a stack. So if you got something you want to do, somewhere you want to go right quick, go to the store, go to the bathroom, I don't know, whatever it is, you feel me? But definitely in about 15 minutes, you want to be back. Come back and have your popcorn and everything ready. Should be an interesting conversation. But yo, shout out to Connie's son too, man. Connie's son is fucking phenomenal to me. Like, I'm just dumbfounded that cat has not like blown up beyond epic proportions at this point. I really am. So if you've never heard of the brother, go check him out. Go on YouTube. That's Connie's son. That's 2 words, Connie then son. And the catalog is just like full of just fire. Like, I'm gonna keep it a stack. And I rarely, like, I don't know, promote MCs like that tough. But I can't say that I've heard something from him ever that I was like, that's trash. There's songs that I like better than others. But overall, dude, is just fucking money. You know, book that. Let me know. Tell me what you think. And shout out to Knowledge, man. Shout out to the whole family too, man. That's Liberation Minded Media. Y'all already know about that. That's Black Eye Stand Radio, Do the Knowledge Radio, The Rundown with Renee, and My Skin is My Sin. And yo, while I got a little moment, okay, bet I can hear myself. While I got a moment, anybody been watching this impeachment shit? You know, and I don't know if it's just me and you, D Macy. I don't know. I've been kind of switching back and forth trying to see if I can get this YouTube working, and I'm not understanding why this is not working right now, to be quite honest. But anyway, have you been watching this impeachment shit, or at least the highlights of the shit? Like, the level of, first off, what really strikes me is like it's like various levels of Trump on both sides. And I don't mean that from the way, you know, what they're saying per se, but they just all like, you know, they like old white men, period. On both sides. I mean, they rambled. I'm supposed to do the rambling, you know, not somebody that's a senator that's been a House of Representative that's been in the job for 30 years. I mean, you should know what you're saying and know what you're doing at that point. On both sides, it just sounded just a bad look for this country. That dude is guilty as shit, though. Like, you can't not do anything. And I don't get how the Republicans have just wholeheartedly decided at all costs we want things to be done our way, no matter the price. And they satisfy their schemy ways by pumping themselves up to believe that it's other people's fault. That somehow they're just total lack of empathy and devoid of any type of even like humanity at this point for a lot of people that look like them. And I'm going to say this over and over again. Like, that's just so boggles me how they don't even give a shit about their own people at this point to an extent. Like, it's crazy. Just watching them go back and forth at each other with all the petty, bitter shit has just been It's just been stupid, and I mean, it's not like the case has been laid out. I will say that. I did get a chance to understand some of the shit that was going on. I kind of keep up with it a little bit, and it wasn't like over people's head type of shit. So it made sense. I paid attention to the Republican side, their lawyer, and he was extra petty. I am going to keep that 100 with you right there. That dude was extremely petty, and I could understand why they chose him to do that particular job. He and hold on one second. What's good, fam?
Yo, what's good, bro?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me turn on the Skype right quick. Oh yeah, I think we're already good. Just chilling, bro. Just chilling. I was talking about the the impeachment shit.
Yo, I've been watching this shit all fucking like week, bro. Like, but the ill shit about the impeachment. Well, go ahead.
You talking to me?
Yeah, my fault.
Oh.
Yeah, the impeachment trial is like it's white guys trying to out white guys.
Exactly. Man, I couldn't think of how to say that shit. That's fucking perfect right there. Yes, it is white guys trying to out white guys.
Right. Yo, that shit is funny as shit, but the crazy shit about it is, like, the Republicans, like, the Republicans is, like, the level of consistency in a lie is, like, equal to, like, when you, like, for instance, right, it's similar to, like, a dude getting caught cheating red-handed, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The thing about it is, like, you got to distract and defer. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to distract and defer, So, like, these niggas, the effort and unity that these niggas is putting into trying to defend this nigga is crazy. It's crazy, yo. Like,
yeah,
man.
But it makes no sense either, though, man. Like, long term, man. Like, it's so selfish and so finite. Because what happens when the shoe is on the other foot and it's a Democrat in the office that's a total moron?
They be getting impeached. Like that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and hold on 1 second, bro. What's good, fam?
Peace to the God.
We got Minister Enqi on the line. King, what's going on, bro?
Peace to the God.
How you been, man? How's your family?
Chilling, man. In a world full of infinite possibilities, the best thing you can ask for is to be alive.
That's a fact.
That is true. Why are we here? You got an answer for us, bro?
Sure. I mean, yeah, that's not a hard one.
Okay, what you got?
Your mama.
Oh my goodness, man. Hey, man, it's been a minute since we talked, man. How's life been going, bro? I see the success. I see the grind, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Wrong. I'm sorry, bro. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. And I'm trying to get this big ass blue thing off the screen. My bad.
Okay, we live already.
Yes, sir. We are.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we was live yet.
Oh, my bad.
Nah. It's all gravy. I stay ready. It's all good. You don't got to get ready when you always ready. You
right. I didn't even know, man. You sound like you came to play. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I just been on the grind. You know what I'm saying? Taking the the bumps and the bruises that come along with the grind. You know what I mean? It's kind of tough sometimes when you're the best at whatever it is you do. You know what I mean? It's everybody trying to.
A lot of niggas
coming
hate
at your head.
Yeah, a lot of niggas hate you, bro.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, everybody coming at your head because it's it's like the Highlander shit. You know what I mean? There can only be one. So you in order to get into the seat. And what I tell people all the time is like, where are your books at? Like, everybody's got this shortcut mentality. Like I guess 50 Cent, they saw 50 Cent do it with Ja Rule, and so everybody has the shortcut mentality. But that's even surface level, because if you look at 50, 50 got shot 9 times. He was doing music for 10 years. Like there's really no shortcut. You know what I'm saying? But I guess people figure they can shortcut, all of the people whose hand I had to hold that had cancer or autoimmune disease until they regained their health. They could shortcut, being in the oncology wards and arguing and fighting with doctors and having to get put out of there by, you know what I'm saying? Like they can shortcut having to, put the books out and grind and try to do all those things while still being a real father at the same time. Like I guess they figure they can just shortcut all that. Mm-hmm. And just have an argue with me online for 45 minutes, and then all of a sudden they're gonna be the man.
I mean, it helps. Let's not lie. Like it helps. It helps for niggas to be mad at niggas. It's more entertaining.
Yeah. No. Honestly, it does too. It does too, because you get free street team promotion. You get free street team work out of folks. Like when you go. This is just a generalization, but when you go into a restaurant, right, mm-hmm. and you go there, and they normally serve you a nice salad and tea or whatever you get, you know what I mean, veggie burger, whatever. The food is nice. So you go to a restaurant, it's regular. You have your food. You give them a few dollars for a tip. Yeah, I'll be back next week, or I'll see you next time, whatever. You just kind of go home and go on about your business. But if you go to that restaurant that you normally go to and there's a fly in your veggie burger, and you bring the fly to the attention of the manager of the restaurant, and he says, man, listen, that's on you, man. I ain't giving you back nothing, man. You want to order another veggie burger or what? When you leave that you might not even make it out of that restaurant before you calling people and going live on IG and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and letting the world know, hell no, I'm not having this. Don't go to this restaurant. They terrible. Woo, 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 woo. What most people don't know is that because of the way human nature is wired, everybody then wants to go to that restaurant. So you actually didn't do yourself. You didn't get the goal that you were looking for, because everybody's curious. Curiosity is a part of human nature, so we want to know the other side of the story. So if you raise hell and woo-woo, people go, hey, I never heard of that restaurant. What they got down there? Oh, man, let me go check that restaurant out. Now, if they go into that restaurant, there's no fly. Everybody's mannerly. The manager's very generous. The waiters are on time, courteous. Guess what? The people that you just told not to go there, that didn't know about that restaurant, mm-hmm. they went to that restaurant, got great service, and now they're customers. And so when we take that analogy to the conscious community, a lot of people lose their audience that way, because they go and tell people that never heard of me, man, this nigga Enqi, he think he know everything. And yeah, and this nigga Enqi, woo. People are like, who? So they come check me out, and before you know it, they're getting the herbs, they're getting the books. They're like, hey, man, you know what? My uncle blood pressure done normalized, and whoop, whoop, whoop. And, hey, man, I'm up running around chasing my wife around the house and chasing the kids, man. Hey, man, you know that? And now when people have real quality added to their life offline, mm-hmm. there's nothing online that you can say to deter those people away from that person. So because most of the people that really follow me, and I don't really like to say follow, but the people that mess with me, mm-hmm. that support me, they support me because of I've added real value to their life real time. So you can't say online, oh, we seen Enqi eating the burger, and then all of a sudden think that that's going to have an impact on these people. Like there's no way me eating a burger, quote unquote, is going to impact somebody who I've given their moms another 5 years in life.
And like since you brought that up too, let's clarify that too. Like that was a part of a skit that you was filming, skit. Right? Yeah.
Right, that was a part of
a skit.
Out there. And then I had somebody that was disgruntled, a part of the team, And my dad always kind of told me everything that you do should be on the need to know basis. So that's just kind of how I work always. And sometimes it bites me in the ass, but most times it helps me out. And so with this person, they was on need to know basis. And so going through my phone, right, because all the footage is in my phone, right? So that was the big thing when I went on some of the other platforms. They was like, yeah, we heard this. And I'm like, yeah, but look, the footage is in my phone. So are you telling me that I went to eat a burger and then had somebody record me with my phone? Like the original footage is on my phone. You know what I'm saying? So, but the person was just digging through my phone, saw something and was like, I bet you, woo, 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 woo. And, put it out there, and it went super viral. Like, I learned so much from that experience. I was like, man, this is crazy. So I'm telling people I know how to heal cancer, and I put up a video, I get 1,000 views. Enqi ate a burger, gets 100,000 views. 100,000 views on 20 different platforms. I'm like, wait a minute, what the?
Hey, yo, I'm not gonna lie though, bro. That shit was funny.
Viral? Like,
that shit was funny, bro. You got to admit.
Yo.
Viral, quick.
What made it funny? It definitely blew up. Like, like having a conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? And then seeing that shit and seeing the comments and all that, like, you couldn't do nothing but laugh. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I had to name it. Like, I had to name it Burgergate. I had to name it Burgergate. It was like a conspiracy. I was like, okay, so I got to respond to Burgergate now. Like, listen, luckily I had, when I was there at the end of me doing it, I still had like the vegan condiments I brought from home, and I did a little part where I was telling people, I was like, okay, well, this is not a real video. Don't do this at home. I'm just faking. This is just for a skit. So that later on, when people, you know what I'm saying, just because I didn't, you know what I mean, you never know. I just always prepare, like, a certain type of way. But like I said, again, the people that really mess with me, they saw me on tour with Ha Ha Davis. Okay. They saw me, because this was probably maybe 3 months in to me doing skits with all the social media comedians on, you know what I'm saying, on my Instagram page. So
that's fun.
I just sat back and I was thinking, like, what is the funniest thing that I could do? You know what I'm saying? Because I can't be one of them, regardless of how funny I am. Right. I still can't be one of them. That's not my lane. Exactly. So I gotta be funny within my lane. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, what is the funniest shit I could do? So I made some burger in the crib. Went, ordered it. I tried to get I cut it because I tried to get into an argument with the lady at the register, but she didn't pay me no attention. You know what I'm saying? I thought that would have been funny. You know what I'm saying? But she was just like, okay, brother, next, please. Come on. You're in the way. You know what I'm saying? So then we went with we just chopped it up the way we had it. You know what I'm saying? But it was crazy how viral it went. But then also on the flip side, it exposed a lot of folks. It exposed a lot of folks because I got to see, you know what I'm saying? It's some people that is not with you. Like, they make themselves clear. Like, this is enemy territory over here. But then you got a lot of people in the middle that are opportunistic. You know what I'm saying? If you up, then they don't mind having you around because it benefits them, especially if they have a platform. You know what I'm saying? But the moment they think they could step on you and, like, you know what I'm saying, put the nail in the coffin finally, you get to see people jump out of nowhere. And it was a couple of people. I was like, wait a minute, you? What? I don't even know you. Like, what are we? Huh? Like, okay, what are you doing?
So who surprised you the most?
Oh, I don't even remember the names, to be honest. I just deleted them out of my life. But these were people that were like in classes. You know what I'm saying? These are people that would be in classes, people that I would see in my chat room thread and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get surprised. Like somebody like people would think, oh well, what about Sa-Netta? Like Sa-Netta wouldn't surprise him. If you know Sa doesn't surprise you. You know what I'm saying? Sa's always going for the juggler. You know what I'm saying? He always going for the controversy like that. That don't. You know what I'm saying? So most people ask me that though. They was like, man, it seemed like Sa was really promoting it. I was like, yeah, but
I promote everything, man.
Yeah, but it's the nature of the beast. If something floats, I expect him to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what he do.
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying? But
let me ask
people that. Go ahead.
Let me ask you, like, how do you feel about like the divisiveness in the, quote unquote conscious community? Because it seems like anytime a brother got something going on, and whether it's a rumor or it's factual, like everybody just seems to jump on it. You know what I mean? And it seems like no matter what, we talk all this. You know what I mean? You guys talk all this knowledge. You know what I mean? And brilliant minds. You know what I'm saying? You got brilliant minds and people that you build a rapport. Almost watching it via YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And like the seeds like switch up.
Yeah, you got to just think. It's like it goes. That monster is got multiple heads to it. You know what I'm saying? Like the first thing I would say is go back to the top of the call. People think that they can just get to the a certain position with a shortcut, right? So
no doubt.
So even with all of the BS, like there's still a certain amount of work you got to do. Like I put classes out. I put a school in Detroit. Even though I only had it for 1 year, I built a school in Detroit out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? I done wrote 30-some books. Like you can't just you can't just argue with me online and think that you can jump into my shoes that easy. But people are walking around with that in their mind. They want to jump into your shoes. They want to be where you at. So you have that process going on, and people, it always amazes me because people want to be in a certain slot so bad, but they don't. It's like wanting to be the heavyweight champion, but you don't want to do any push-ups. You don't want to do any jump rope. You don't want to wake up and jog at midnight, but you want to wear the heavyweight champion belt. Like it doesn't work that way. You actually have to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? So that's what people are looking for. A lot of people are looking for that shortcut. And a lot of it, I will take the blame. I take maybe 40% of the blame on myself because I think when people look at me, they see the gold teeth, the jewelry, the clothes, the way I talk, the slang, the accent, and some of those things. And it gives them the impression that it's something that is very easy that they can just jump on. You don't really have to put any work in. You can just maybe watch a YouTube video here and there or read a book, and then all of a sudden you're an overnight herbalist or you're an overnight healer or you just like, no, I'm actually a certified master herbalist. I'm actually a certified personal trainer, sports nutritionist, naturopathic doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm actually those things on paper. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just I just started a YouTube channel and then I just named myself a thing because I know a few ideas about. Like, no, that's not how it went down. You know what I'm saying? Like you actually have to spend that money and that time and do what you need to do to get them certifications if you want to wear them shoes. And then you got to put in the work to actually get the repertoire. You know what I'm saying? So that's one piece to it. But then you got another piece where people it's a money thing.
Yeah.
It's monetary.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, like for instance, I was on another brother's platform earlier today, right? So since this discovery about the soul and consciousness really hit, it's been crazy. Shout out Knowledge, shout out MJ, shout out everybody helping me. But it's been crazy. So just like interviews and magazines, shout out Rolling Out Magazine, shout out Precise. But people want to know about the soul. Like like this Dr. Enqi, the founder of the soul thing, is driving people crazy. They're like, what does he mean? He found the soul, right? But and we'll get to that part later down, I guess, in the show. But so there's another piece to it where it's like when I'm on his show earlier, he's like, yo, where you been at the last few years? You know, we haven't heard from you.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, see, that's a problem. If you're not on one of two channels, people think that you're not doing anything.
Facts.
And the reason being is because, you know, it's been centralized down to, you know, one channel, which is pretty much, they just cover like pop culture. There's not really any conscious hardcore work being done on that channel. And then the other channel is really just like a debate argument channel. So there's not really any hardcore work being done on there, because when you're in a debate, it's just like being in an argument. The most important thing is being right, not necessarily the transfer of information or even making sure that the audience that's listening is actually pulling something away. It's more for the two people that are in the ring. They're just more concerned with a victory. So, you know, it has its benefits, but it's not necessarily the greatest teaching tool. You know what I'm saying? That's more like getting people that are not a part of the culture or not interested or maybe not aware of what's going on to become aware. But once you have their attention, that's not the most efficient way to teach people, right? So, but if you're not on those channels, people think you're not like, and I'm like,
you ain't popular.
I'm like this. Right, I'm like, did you go on my channel? I like, did you go on my page?
Yeah, you gotta be validated, you know. And
right.
It's unfortunate, but to some extent too, we are still making conscious decisions to choose those channels.
Correct, and that's where we kind of got to get out of that, because what happens is people are able to do as much as the support will lend them. Right? So if you don't have the support behind you where you can dedicate your time to a thing, then it kind of drizzles out. Especially if you have a life, then you have to worry about other facets of your life. I've been lucky and blessed enough that I learned, you know, I've learned, my supporters have shown me it's not about YouTube view numbers. It's about how many of the people that actually view your video actually support you, right? Because you could have 5 people view your video. If those 5 people is like, yo, don't worry about it, man. Whatever you need, I got you. We're going to take care of it. Let's get this research done, this work done. Boom. You straight. But you can have 5,000 people on your video and they just comment, like, and they don't actually physically support you.
Exactly.
Right. They keep it moving. You still looking for, you know what I mean? You still in trouble. You still you maybe put an application in at Walmart. So whatever your research is will be short-ended. Yeah. Yeah, you know, it gets crazy. You know what I'm saying? Your research will be short-ended because you never got to really see it all the way through. So people don't understand what y'all do at home is very important. You know what I'm saying? What y'all do in terms of support is very important. You know what I'm saying? Even if, you know, financially you may not have it, but you can put a like on a video, you can share a video, share a link. All of those things are super appreciated. But, you know, you consolidate power when you only look for people to be on one or two platforms, because then, you know, you're giving the controllers of those platforms the ability to decide what you will not see. And so then later on, when people are complaining and saying, oh, man, well, the conscious community is falling off and this, that, and the other, woo-woo. What are you watching? What is it that what are you consuming? Where is your views going? Where is your money going? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you supporting the rehashing of, you know, foolishness that's already been settled? Like, I done got 20 people ask me in the last week, like, yo, what's up with the vaccine? I'm like, yo, I already destroyed those guys on vaccines. I already did the Thanos finger snap on vaccines already. You know what I'm saying? The video's already up. Thanos has already stepped. You know, I mean, it's like, it was...
Why?
However,
well,
if it's an entertainment...
Now, bro. And actually, I got a couple questions. But why, bruh? Like you could do all this shit and make your money and not give a shit about whether other people get the information and don't have to deal with the hate. Like, why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep giving the information away?
I mean, I care about people. You know what I'm saying? I care. Like, I do this. See, that goes to the core of why you begin to do this. So when I first stepped into consciousness, right? Mm-hmm. And I started to look around and I started to, because there's levels to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Meek Mill says, there's levels to it. So when you first step in, you're kind of just a student of everybody, mm-hmm. right? As I quickly moved around and got more personable with a lot of the teachers and the speakers and got behind the curtain, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Almost everybody here has like felonies on their record or like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's some other shit going on with these people where they may not have many other options for what they could do. When people saw me step into consciousness, I had the all-black Range Rover with the peanut butter seats. I was getting $80,000 a year from Verizon. I quit my job. I quit to come do this full-time for the people. You see what I'm saying? So there's an entire different perspective on what you're doing and why you're doing and how you're doing when those are your situations. So if you're in a situation where you feel like you have to do this and this is not something you love to do, then you're going to approach it that way. But me, this was like my dream come true. Like ever since I was a little kid, I was in love with magic, and then that love for magic turned into a love for science, and then, you know, it just grew into a point where it's like now, oh man, I can literally accomplish two dreams at once. Like I can do what I love, but doing what I love gives me the ability to do what I always dreamed success would be. Everybody has a different picture in their mind of what success would be for them. For me, success was always having a bunch of children and being able to annoy the hell out of them all day, 24/7. Like just being able to be home with your children. Like that to me was like massively successful. I was like, so as I'm growing up, like that's the goal I'm shooting for. Like I just want to have children, be able to take care of them, you know, keep shoes on their body, you know, shoes on their feet, clothes on their body, keep something in the fridge and be home with them. You know, and so just being able to do that to me is like, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm already on my Drake, like, nigga, we made it.
Yeah, that's dope. I can't be mad at that. Like, who doesn't want to do that? Do the shit you love and don't have to answer to anybody, really. You know?
Right. So that's another reason why when you look back at my body of work, you definitely see the growth from the scruffiness to a little bit more polished, but it's always been the same thing. Like I've never been the guy who's doing like economics on Monday, family on Tuesday, history on Wednesday, debate on Thursday. You know, this next, you know, no. It's always one line of research, because when you're dealing with the human body, there's always more to learn. There's never going to be a point where you know it all. You know, so you play the role of student and teacher, just depending on who's in the room.
Okay.
Right? Because when you're in the room where people know more than you, you're a student. When you're in the room where you know more, then you're the teacher.
Fact.
But at the point where you get too big for your britches and you no longer are interested in being a student, then you're going to soon have your teacher card revoked, because you're going to run out of stuff to teach. So you always have to maintain that relationship. And so if you don't really love what it is that you're doing, it's gonna show, because at some point you're going to you're gonna bottom out, so to speak, because you're gonna be tired of studying what it is. You're gonna be tired of going to get the new books and studying the text. You're gonna be tired of all the things that you have to do to be at the level you want to be at. Like that's why the best analogy is a boxer, because everybody's familiar with that. So you'll be at some point, if you don't really love training,
it's a wrap.
You're not going to be able to be a heavyweight champ. Exactly, because you're not going to get it. Like when you're hungry and you don't have a choice, it's easy to hit the gym. It's easy to do them push-ups. It's easy to jump that rope. But once you already, you know what I mean, your closet nice, you done drove around some nice cars. It's, you
ain't getting up at 6 o'clock, man. You're getting up at 8:30, bro. Don't wake me up.
Right. At best.
Right.
At best. 8:30, forget about it.
Exactly.
Wake me up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? Like,
knock the fuck out and want to blame your trainer.
Exactly. And we just saw that with Andy Ruiz, low key. But we see that in consciousness too, though. You know what I'm saying? For a variety of reasons. So for me, like, I'm always going to be in study mode. I'm always going to be in study mode. And when you're in study mode, the first person that you see, that's not like the first person you see just gets blasted. Period. Gang, 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 gang. Like, so even my children, you know what I'm saying, they know when I'm in study mode, they'll like try to avoid me because they know they're going to get hit with a barrage of random facts that may not even make sense to them all at the same time. But you gotta teach because it's floating around in your mind. You know what I'm saying? So, but they help me a lot. You know what I'm saying? They help me a lot, keep me grounded, and then they help me communicate sometimes some of the more complicated things when I'm trying to simplify it to the people at large. You know what I'm saying? But this is a labor of love for me, so it feels different.
That's dope. All right, so I'm a notorious, like, pretty much, I'm just a pig, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I got horrible habits. I'm old, and let's say tomorrow I wake up and I want to change my life. Give me 3 simple ass things I can do to improve not only the my longevity, but the quality of that longevity.
I don't know. I would say lay in the bed a little bit longer tomorrow and figure out something specific. You got to figure out something specific. Because if you don't figure out something specific, whatever you do is going to be fake. It's not going to last. Like a lot of people, they try to change their diet or their lifestyle. I guess they associate diet with lifestyle. But they try to make a change, and it's primarily just because that's the lingo. It's trending right now. Mm-hmm. And so they know they should, but, so they go out, they try to eat a little. You want fries with this burger, or you want salad? Give me the salad. You know what I'm saying? Like they make a few, but before long they're back to what they've been doing, because they really didn't establish, like they really didn't have something fixed that is a priority for them, that they were trying to get, something they were fighting for, like a worthwhile goal. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, most of us only get that when our back's pressed up against the wall. You know what I'm saying? So when the doctor tell you something crazy, then people make changes that they stick to. They're like, oh, hold on, the knife or give up the chicken? Chicken, you are out of here. Like it's nothing to not even look back. They hit me back in like 3 months. Like, bro, I ain't had chicken in 3 months. I ain't even thinking about it.
Yeah,
so
that would not be a hard decision right there.
Right. So it really comes down to motivation. You know what I'm saying? For me, I always wanted to just be in shape enough to play with my children, right? Because I've seen a lot of dads, they get into their 40s and they children like, yo, let's go play basketball. They like, my back hurt, or I going out there with your brother, or let's go throw the football in front of the house, and they like, I can't really, you know what I mean? So those are the things that always motivate me. And then, I always want my action to work. I always want my action to work.
That's a hell of a motivator right there.
Listen,
right.
You laughing, but
right, you need that.
You got to think like this. Viagra made billions, like damn near overnight.
Yes.
And then when their patent got released, and then other people could copy the formula, everybody's making billions. So you gotta sit back and say to yourself, like, hold on now, how many people was really getting this? How many people buying this shit? Like, wait, what's going on right now? It's a pandemic because it's a side effect of metabolic illness, and everybody's walking around right now with some degree of metabolic illness, especially in the Black community. You know what I'm saying? And patches work better than getting to the root of things, because you can put a patch on the problem without making any sacrifices, right? But the moment you want to try to get to the root and eliminate some stuff, you got to make some sacrifices. That's what it always comes down to. So I would say, if you're looking for 3 things to really make some powerful changes, the first thing would be, what type of change would you be looking for? You see what I'm saying? Like, because I speak to the masses, right? So right now I can't see your body, right? So if I could see you and I see, oh man, okay, well that midsection probably need to go down.
Now
right?
I feel attacked right there, bro.
Right, see? Right? But see, that's me just on the phone. I can't see you. I'm just throwing that out there because I know that usually this is how people work. You know what I'm saying? Like, they work in third parties. They hit me with the, hey, yo, my homeboy was saying that he wanted to get, not for me, I'm good, but my homeboy had wanted to get a couple of them cleansers. And, with that other thing, too. So people speak in third party, so I'm used to speaking back in third party so that, we keep it just in a neutral place. But so if you're just trying to cut down
I'm gonna tell your ass, man. I'm a mess, bro. And see, that's part of my problem. Like, I ain't ashamed of this shit. I know I'm horrible.
But listen, I'm a mess is general. People have a perception that they sometimes are worse than they really are, and some people have a perception that they are not as bad as they really are. You know what I'm saying? So if you tell me I'm 5'5", but I'm 265 pounds, then that creates a picture in my mind, and I can say, oh, okay, whoa, just don't eat again till 2020. Like,
Yo, you ever think about being like a celebrity dietitian or anything like that?
Absolutely. I would love it. You know what I'm saying? I've had people ask me for help, celebrities, but for the things that they asked me for help for, they didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to go public. But I would love to do like a celebrity, diet challenge type of thing. That'd be dope.
That would be
dope.
Yo,
like I'm a volunteer Lizzo. Like, Lizzo will be my first candidate.
Man, stop
bro.
it, man. Don't do that to her, man.
No, listen, bro. Listen, yo. Like, Lizzo looked like stunt double for Martin and Big Mama's House too.
Oh, man.
Stop, man. Stop,
Yo.
man. Like, you only slandering her, man, because she a heftier woman, man. She's a beautiful woman. Leave her alone, bro.
Okay, well, see, I haven't really got a chance to study her yet. Because, but I've heard of her. But wait, no, listen. It goes back to the conversation we was having earlier. You know what I'm saying? You complain about the fly in your burger when you can't get a refund. I didn't know who Lizzo was until the other day. Somebody said she was butt naked at one of the basketball games. That she had her panties out or something crazy. So they didn't show it. They didn't show it, but they just said that she came to the game and then they played her song. I got my hair done, nails, whatever, however that's however it go. But what I'm saying is that was probably by design.
Yeah.
Because it created the conversation that got her name a lot further than her work could do. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously her song is out there and it's popping, but it still didn't get her name out there as fast as going on to an NBA basketball game with your panties out. You know what I'm saying? Like, soon as you do that, you conversation, you everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, but let's be honest though, man. If like Beyonce been wearing panties on stage her whole fucking career, and we have not complained one bit.
That's a concert though, my nigga. Like it's not
What's the difference,
like
bro?
it was like Kobe walked his kids off court. Like you ever seen?
You talking about the same Kobe that had to buy his wife a $5 million ring because he got caught?
Nah, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
Right. Get off.
Unnecessary roughness.
Lizzo is like if Cabbage Patch made like a sexy Cabbage Patch doll, it'd be Lizzo. Like she looks like a Cabbage Patch doll in a song, yo.
Man, stop it, man. You only doing that because she a larger woman, man. You hate.
Well, listen.
Hey,
no, I'm not hating. Not hating.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you about me. I don't really like. There's some men, right? They just don't like big girls at all.
Right.
Me, I don't really judge a woman by her size. It's more so the shape.
Fact.
So it depends on what type of big woman
sense.
you are. So if you're a bigger woman and your butt and your thighs is really crazy and the stomach is kind of in and the boobs come out like they're supposed to, and like everything look like it's supposed to, but it's just a lot bigger, we got a conversation. We cool. However, if you got that big shoulder, flat booty kind of thing,
right?
That's we don't really have that much of a convo. Like it gotta be, you gotta be really stimulating mentally. You gotta really be stimulating mentally for us to have some conversation at that point.
Yo, a big girl with no ass is so disappointing, bro. Like her ass ain't even fat. It's
I mean, but see, the thing about that,
I don't know how she look. I haven't seen her.
Everybody is disappointing to somebody.
No,
yeah, that's a fact.
Like, it's a fact. That's a fact. Like I could put the picture.
But listen,
right
hold on. She's just getting famous. So like, you know what I'm saying? So you never know how this conversation turns out. Like in a year or two after she get comfortable with that bag, you never know. Like she might get the team of trainers together and the nutritionists and the she might not be trying to have a heart attack 3 years into her career. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? The flip side, she get that bag. She might, a lot of them Popeye chicken sandwiches may happen. She may hit the ground holding the chest. You never know.
Them shit's got fentanyl in them, bro.
Well, let's just hope that neither one of those is true. And that's allegedly.
Nah.
Wait, why are we hoping neither one of those is true? She gonna get her. Why would we? Nah, man, I'm putting the good construction on sis. I'm hoping that she get her team together.
I don't want her to fall out.
Gym. Oh, right. No. I'm saying she got two choices. She can. Her money. See, money makes you gives you power. It gives you the freedom to do what you want to do. So she could become lazy and fall off further, or she could, get her team and get her health in order and do what she needs to do.
Yo, I'm not saying like on the right night, like she's not ugly at all. You know what I'm saying? Now I seen her without makeup too, and I was a little bothered, but like she looked regular without makeup. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say is like
I don't know. I think you like Lizzo a little bit. Tell the truth, man. You like Lizzo a little
bit. Listen. On the right night, I smashed. Like I ain't gonna front.
said on the right night I smash. Nah, any day. You like Lizzo a little bit,
right, man?
Listen, bro. Like I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. Like I didn't definitely tag some snack trucks in my day. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna say I haven't. I definitely have. You know what I'm saying? And I don't regret it either. But what I also am saying is,
wait, what did you just say? Mac trucks?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yo, this show is so politically incorrect right now. Y'all gonna get all kind of Me Too shit going on with y'all show. Everybody gonna be on y'all.
It's not me, man. That's wrong, man.
I love the ladies. I don't even. The size don't matter for me.
It does.
So like, when y'all start sending them Me Too letters out, just remember what I'm saying. I love all the ladies. Size does not matter. I did not compare y'all to any vehicles.
I had nothing to do with that. And for the record, please, My Skin Is My Sin did not have anything to do with that comment, and we did not feel that way. And we love all women.
Wait, look, you gotta put up the
right.
What's that shit they be having on TV? The views and opinions expressed on this show. Yo, y'all niggas off the chain for real. This is crazy over here. Man, this is crazy over here.
Like,
shout out Lizzo, because I think we just definitely got her music some new streams and downloads.
Hopefully.
Hey, yo, her music's cool.
It is. She's dope, man.
Right, but what I'm saying is I don't even know how her music sounds. So now I'm going to check it out, and I got to assume that if I don't know how her music sounds, there's probably other people listening that don't know how her music sounds, and they're going to check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks to this conversation.
She's like a auntie built prototype. You know what I'm saying? Like, she looked like she made good macaroni and cheese.
I would agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would agree with that one. I know that is quite sexist. I do apologize wholeheartedly. However, yeah, she does. I can't lie. Bruh, Enqi, let people know if they want to get in contact with you or they want to purchase.
Nah, man, no, sir. Hold on. There's no way we're segueing to contact information.
My bad, man.
There's no way.
Not at this point, huh? All right, we'll push that back a little bit.
No way we are segueing to. So, yeah, we comparing women to inanimate objects and all kinds of foul shit. But feel free to reach out to Dr. Enqi right now and just let him know how you feel. Hell to the no.
Okay.
Hell to the no.
Since you put it that way, man.
Yeah, you made it.
I gotta add something meaningful to the community before this show is over.
Right,
before I give out some contact information. I may be telling niggas I got another name. Like, yo, my name is Me Too. That's what my name is. Hit me up on IG at Me Too.
All right, so you found our soul. Can you break that down slightly for us learning impaired folk?
Okay. So the easiest way I see to be making headway with it, because I'm like literally trying to explain this thing to everybody. And the craziest thing about this is that it's not a new thing. Like, this has been what I've been teaching for the longest. It's crazy how, on one level, I feel the pride. I feel proud that people are like interested in what I'm saying, and it seems like it's groundbreaking, and you know, people passing me, giving me accolades or whatever the case may be for it. But on the flip side, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, damn. So what was I like, the Charlie Brown teacher for the last 10 years? Like, boom, bam, boom, bam, bam, boom, bam, bam, boom, bam, bam, boom, bam, bam. Like, I feel like this is crazy because this has been what I've been saying for the last 10 years. Like, this is the basis of what I teach. You know what I'm saying? But so the basic.
Hey, Enqi, can I time that out just for a second? Because I did forget to tell.
Yeah.
Knowledge knew. I'm not sure if he told you, but one of our young kings has been to over 60 countries. And we usually have him call up.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, we usually have him call up about 8 o'clock and kind of just give us like the rundown on one particular country for about 5 minutes. Do you have that to wait and we can get back to the soul? Because I really want to hear about this.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to hear about the country the king is in.
And hopefully we can get him on because, man, Skype been fucking with us the last couple of weeks. I don't know why they doing that to us. You know, that me and Rome and one other
I know
person
why.
is cool.
I know why because it's probably a big a bigger woman that's in charge of Skype. She's like, oh, so you niggas want to make video calls, huh?
Yeah, I would not doubt that. I would not doubt that, to be quite honest.
Y'all hitting firewalls and shit out this motherfucker now.
Oh my goodness, man! Hey, man, and that is the beautiful thing about this situation over here, man. We can go from that to talking about our souls, and damn, it's giving me 3 of 3 in the call and will not let me add him. Like, I don't know why this is happening, bro. Any explanations out there, please?
I already told you.
Well,
Lizzo don't listen. Lizzo didn't make it to where she made it without connections, man.
But that would be extremely quick, man. That would be
Nah, man. Her auntie and them, her cousins. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe just sisters that feel the same way. They out there in them streets. They like, nah, we blocking Skype.
What's
it's
good,
a
bro?
wrap.
Hey, what's up now? Hey, give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to. I got him on my. Damn, how can I put the speaker on? Oh. I got him on my phone. I'm trying to put the speaker on, and it won't let me put the damn speaker on. I wonder why that is.
You know, the reception may not be too good out there in Djibouti.
Yo, Camp, can you hear us? I'm not sure who that is.
You say he's in.
It sounds like
You say he's in your booty?
No. What? Hey, wait, the hell you come up with this shit, man? Come on,
Yo,
bro.
I don't know. He said the reception might not be that good in your booty. I'm like, what did I just miss?
Okay.
We're gonna pause. You're gonna pause up everybody. You know what I'm saying? Big pause.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I have no clue.
Super pause. Like
extra pause,
I just needed clarification on that. I was like, wait a minute. Did I hear that correctly?
The reception on my. I don't even think I said reception. I don't know, bro. Anyway, Camp, can you hear me? Okay, for some reason, like I got you on, and my bad, family. I got you on my phone, man, but I can't put it on speakerphone for some reason. I can't bring you in on the Skype conversation. What I'm gonna have to end up doing is we'll just do a video and I'll just play that boy during the show at 8 o'clock. Yeah, but I'll talk to you after that because I'm live, so my bad. All right, peace. Yeah, yes, I know. Damn, Rome, you at the club, bro?
Nah, man. You know, my cousins came over. You know, Ravens played tonight, man. So my fault. Is it that loud?
It is, bro. It's pretty bad. All right.
How about now?
No, it's the same thing, bro. You just muted yourself and unmuted yourself like it was gonna change.
I touched my body. See if it's gonna make a difference.
Oh my God, I can't with y'all.
Yeah, man. All right, so bad. So about our souls, man. I need to know. Like, I know I got one. I'm 100% sure of that. But break that down for us, bro.
Okay, so the easiest way to look at it is to just get a basic working idea of electricity, light, and magnetism, right? So with electricity, right, and a lot of our, depending on what your belief system, what you subscribe to. But a lot of our ancestors through our texts, they kind of left us certain information that we just didn't spend enough time in the studio studying to really understand, right? So we know that creation came through the word, right? In some cases, or utterance in some cases, or vibration in some. So what you have is friction, movement, vibration being the creator of electricity, right? And then when that radiation, when that energy, that charge radiates out from the medium that it was created in, we know that as light. Now, on top of that little trio, you have magnetism, where information is stored, right? So we know that all of our data, like in our cell phones that we on right now, our laptops, our computers, home desktop, whatever, your debit card in your pocket, the black strip, like we know information is stored in magnetic fields. That's what magnetic fields do. So now we have information created as electricity through movement, vibration, sound. We have information moving one medium to another as light, radiation. And then we have information being stored as magnetism. In our body, we have that same feature. And there were a lot of small discoveries along the way that kind of led me down a certain path with the information, one of which being that melanin is photovoltaic, right? So I've been saying that so long that people just been looking at me like, yo, he's crazy. Everybody says melanin is photosynthetic. Melanin does photosynthesis. Melanin is human chlorophyll. I'm like, nah, what part of science is that? That's not how that goes. If melanin was human chlorophyll, it would be chlorophyll. Like, it would be green. It would be, no, there's a different mineral set and a lot of smaller nuances that are different between melanin and chlorophyll. You have the peripheral ring or the porphyrin ring that is basically your net of benzene rings, which allow for, the interaction with light. But the minerals at the center of these pigments really dictate a lot of what the behavior is going to be. So you can say chlorophyll is similar in makeup to melanin. It's similar in makeup to heme. But what differentiates them is the iron, the sodium, and the magnesium. Magnesium has the ability to self-assemble into a hexagonal shape, which is awesome because that's the shape that our structured water in our cells takes. So in order for things to be bioavailable, they need to have that shape. So magnesium does that. And so in plants, magnesium is able to take the energy from the sun and create bioavailable crystals that we call carbohydrates for consumption, right? Mm-hmm. Iron and heme, like the heme in your blood or the heme in the mitochondrial respiratory chain, is able to, iron is magnetic, so we kind of know about iron. Sodium, on the other hand, we pay less attention to. But what sodium is able to do is control the movement of water. And not only to control the movement of water, but to create a charge in water. So just kind of some of those discoveries. And then as I kept poking around, I started looking at ATP and mitochondria. And I'm looking at ATP and I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so the ATP is recycled inside the mitochondria. The food that we eat goes to the mitochondria. Okay, so this is an interesting little nuance. I'm like, so wait a minute. So all the food that we eat is going to these guys. Like, so whether it's a kale or pork rib, it's going to the mitochondria. Okay, and then the mitochondria in turn are giving us or recycling ATP, and we actually use ATP to produce the energy in the cell that the cell runs on. So then I take a look at the ATP, and I'm like, okay, so it's not the whole ATP that's doing it, because you have adenosine triphosphate. Tri just means 3. So adenosine is the base, and it's attached to 3 phosphates, or 3 phosphoruses. So it's obviously the phosphorus that's providing the energy. So now we just take a look at phosphorus, and we say, oh, phosphorus is known as the light bearer. That's who phosphorus is. Phosphorus is the light bearer. Fluorescence is based on phosphorus. All of our TV sets, our monitors, all of these things work because you send an electrical signal into the TV or the monitor or your cell phone or whatever, and then that signal hits up against phosphorus, and the phosphorus is what actually produces the structured, organized light that we see as video games or TV or video or whatever it is that we see on these screens we look at. Mm-hmm. So it's phosphorus doing that. And that's what phosphorus does anytime phosphorus is exposed to oxygen or any other form of electrons. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, so it's actually light that's driving all of the biochemistry in each cell. And so then I started to look at phosphorus a little bit more, and I noticed that phosphorus is basically the majority of what makes up your membrane to each cell. So it's you have phospholipids that make up the membranes to the cell. Then you look even deeper, and you notice that your DNA is made out of phosphorus. Right? Then you look even deeper, and you see the microtubule system, like the skeleton of your cells. Those are made out of phosphorus. Then you look at your bones, and you notice your bones are made out of phosphorus. Like your bones can't use calcium or anything else without phosphorus. Then you look at the plasma, and you see the plasma in the body is made out of phosphorus, especially this very special plasma that your brain and your spine sits in. It's super phosphorus rich. You have a combination of different types of phosphorus in this fluid. And it's in that fluid where the information that we know of as your soul or your consciousness arises from, which is the reason why the brain and the spine sit in that fluid so that it can interact with that information and send that information to and from the magnetic field that we know of as your mind. And it was actually recorded maybe 3,000-4,000 years ago as such in the pyramids, where I got further validation in researching because I came across the story of, well, not came across it, I already knew it, but just going back to it, looking more further in depth, you have the story of Isis, right? And Isis, she collects Osiris's body, and she reanimates him, per se. At least that's how we remember the story anyway. Mm-hmm. And that's where she gets Horus. But when I look back at the story and I looked and went in detail, I noticed that she actually created Horus, who's the god of light, right, from Osiris's soul. And Osiris's soul was the original goat, right? Bang Jadet. And so when you look at this goat, right, you literally can see. Like now, if you're not a person that studies anatomy or physiology, you won't see it. But I put the pictures in my books and in my videos and everything. And for people that look, it's astonishing. Like it's breathtaking when you look at it, because literally this goat that they depicted as Osiris's soul is a dead ringer for your brain and your spine sitting in these 4 ventricles, right? And so when you think about it, it's a light processing unit, right? It's an information processing unit. We know what the brain and the nervous system is, an information processing unit. Mm-hmm. But what's crazy is that it's been preserved all throughout history, because even today, when you look in your computers, The computer, the information processing unit in your computer today is still called RAM.
Do you think that we'll ever be able to factually prove that?
No, of course, it's done now. Like I've already been sat down with different professors. Like you can't make this type of claim and people not want to be like, okay, so let me get some validation on that, right? But I've already sat down with professors. I've got some crazy phone calls, like just mind blowing. People are like, okay, I want to ask you this and I want to ask you that, because other people are like, yo, somebody else made this claim before you did. I'm like, nah, I got dates and videos, buddy. Nobody can. So it's kind of beyond, like, for us, because we don't really play in that realm. You know what I'm saying? We kind of just talk crazy and reckless to us, and we think we deep. But for the people that live in that realm, you know, scientists and professors, and they take it very serious, because when you make a discovery of that importance, you know, your name goes down in history, even if it's quiet while you're alive. Later on, when they try to innovate and make technology surrounding that discovery, they still have to give you your roses. So right now, I'm on record as the guy. You know what I'm saying? So when they make the jumps with the new computers, they can't do that without incorporating certain aspects of biology to be able to do like super. And what mistake they made was they attributed consciousness falsely to quantum computation, right? And so quantum computation basically goes on in your microtubules inside your neurons, right? But what they didn't pay attention to was that in the microtubules, like microtubules are made out of tubulin. Tubulin is made out of phosphorus and sits in the plasma. So even there, the same interaction is happening. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, cats just don't stay in the studio long enough. Like, this is just literally what I do. So when cats is partying, this is what I'm doing. When cats is sleeping, this is what I'm doing. When cats eating breakfast, this is what I'm doing. When cats is eating lunch, this is what I'm doing. When cats out looking for new girls, this is what I'm doing. When cats having sex with them girls, this is what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? So the science is already there, and I kind of go a little bit more in detail in the various aspects of how the phosphorus interplays with some of the other areas of your body. But they've already done tests in Harvard to, like, for instance, let's just backtrack it and make it more simple, right? Mm-hmm. That's why we started with the electricity, light, and magnetism.
Right.
You can't have electricity without radiation.
Okay.
So you can't have electricity without light. Right? You can't have electricity without magnetism. The moment you have an electric current, you have magnetism. So where our hang-ups come in is we've had different spiritual systems that we could not validate that have said things like light body, right? But we couldn't scientifically validate those things before. So we have a stigma, almost an aversion to accepting those things as scientific terminology now. But the moment that we accept it, right, whether you got it from Robert Beck or Robert Becker or Dr. Sabi, but the moment that you accepted that your body was electric, you also accepted that your body was luminous. And you also accepted that your body was magnetic, because you can't have an electric circuit without a magnetic field being generated. So at that point, it's just a matter for us to become a little bit more familiar with how information is transported via sound, light, right, and magnetism. But because we are kind of slow on some of these things, it doesn't mean the world is. Like when you hear of, like with your internet services. So the old school internet services, they use copper wires. They put the copper wires underground, ran the copper wires everywhere, and pretty much your stuff is running by electrons or electricity through the copper.
Right.
Simple enough. Fiber optics came and upgraded that. What fiber optics was instead of using electrons, they use photons. They use light. So you have glass tubes. Instead of copper wires, you have glass tubes. You have very thickly insulated glass tubes, and they're shooting light. The light is encoded with all the information. And so whenever you hear fiber optics, this is literally light traveling through the wiring system, carrying the information that's going to be reinterpreted on the other side. So when it hits your computer screen, it's hitting your computer screen via phosphorus and being converted into, your structured whatever you see on the screen. But this not new. It may just be new to us, and we may be we're just not used to accepting these things that we have heard all our lives in regard to maybe religion or some of our other spiritual systems as scientific terms. But what I've been trying to tell people ever since people listened to me was that all of this modern science is coming from your ancestors. So it would pay. It behooves you to study what they left, because even if you don't, the people that are going to make the next billion or $1 trillion are already doing it. So when we looked at this technology now that we have, all this technology, it comes from the Temple of Dendera. When you look in the Temple of Dendera, you can see the cathode ray tubes, which are also plasma tubes. You can't have TV, radio, or computers without that. That comes from the Temple of Dendera. So, and when you look at TV started with the cathode ray tubes and progressed up to plasma, et cetera, and they were in. But when you think about that, you're talking about plasma. So you're talking about, oh, wait a minute, is my body filled with plasma? Hey, wait a minute, so we back to plasma again. So when you start to really just toss these things around in your head for a minute, you be like, wait a minute, this was kind of always right there around the corner. It's just being well versed enough in, a couple of different fields to be able to say 2 + 2 = 4. So the science is already validated. It's just a matter of getting it out there so now people can really turn around and say, okay, well, this is a movement. And now you can go back to, if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, an Israelite, or you're a Krishna, or maybe you're trying to get, you're trying to follow the Kemetic ideology, or whatever it is you're trying to do. Now, what I want to do is just empower people to be able to go back to their original systems, whatever they've been doing their whole life, reinvigorated. Now you no longer have to look, now you no longer have to look weird when you get around analytical people and they try to belittle what your belief system is because you can't articulate what you study in a scientific language that they will respect. Now you have the tools to be able to sit down and do that. So when somebody says soul, spirit, because the moment you're reintroduced to the fact that your soul is a real tangible thing, there's instantly no question of whether there's a God or not. There's no question. Now, the anthropomorphization.
Wait a minute. Hold on, bro. How do you make that leap?
Well, because, okay, so it's actually very simple because I made the leap long before I made that discovery. But in order to sustain life, right? And we can actually go to this chapter. I guess it's a hot chapter for this conversation, right? So we go to chapter 2, verse 7 in the Bible. I think it's chapter 32, verse 9 in the Quran, if I'm not mistaken, right? But it talks about God forming man or mankind from the dirt, right? And then breathed the breath of life into man, and then he became a living soul. right? So here's where the problem comes in, right? Because we've been oppressed and we have issues with that, because a part of that oppression came with people that were thanking the God of the quote-unquote Bible for their success in oppressing us. So even though that's an incomplete narrative, we still have painful memories that we associate with the Bible. And so what we're doing is overriding the science that may present itself to deal with the pain and the issues that we have, the traumatic issues that we still have carried over from what we've been through the last couple hundred years, right? But if we take a scientific look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, right, and we separate ourselves from the foolishness, right? Because some people will just analyze it to death and say, oh, well, we know it's impossible. And I have too much respect for you, Dr. Enqi, to think that you could agree that a man could grab a handful of dirt and blow on it, and then it became alive. And so I have to answer those people and say, if you think that's what I'm saying, this conversation is not for you, right? Now, if we look at form, right? See, a lot of times we glance over the word form, right? So we glance over form, and form implies geometry, a particular type of shape. So when we look at atoms have to be arranged in a very particular structure, a very particular type of structure, in order to facilitate life. That comes from information. So you have to have information for that. You have to have information. So that's the first thing, the form, right? And so science uses the term crystal lattice structure. And all throughout biology, you have that crystal lattice framework to be able to support life. And what is supporting life? Supporting life is light, electricity, magnetism. So form, right? So the problem again comes with God. We anthropomorphize God to maybe a white man with a beard, and that's what throws people off. But if we use the term intelligence, because most of these books don't tell us that God is a white man with a beard. Most of these books tell us that God is some form of light. So if we understand that light is information, and we just leave it there, and we don't try to add any more, take anything away from it, and we leave it there, we know that that's possible. We know that light can provide the information for atoms to arrange themselves in a crystal lattice structure. Now, the other part is breathing the breath of life, right? So most people, the breath of life for them is oxygen. You think oxygen when you hear breath of life. But atoms don't breathe oxygen. All atoms breathe photons. They absorb photons. They radiate photons. Every single one of them. Absorb photons, radiate photons. Just like we breathe air, oxygen, we absorb it in, we release the gases out. We absorb the gases, we release the gases. That's what they do. They absorb photons, release photons. So now if we look at that story again and we say an intelligent field arranged atoms in a crystal lattice structure that could support light and bioelectricity, like, it just makes more sense. It just makes more sense because once we know what these terms mean, see, we've gotten divorced from the science behind these things, and we've given these things new definitions that the people that originally created these terms didn't mean. So because we did that, we have people now come along after the original intentions, the original intended science behind these mnemonic devices, because that's what we use stories for. We use stories to communicate in simpler fashion more complex truths. right?
True.
And so when people, so when people forget the initial science behind the stories, then they could debunk and play. They can play and make light of what the actual science was. So they can look at, the pyramids and say, oh yeah, well look, what is this right here? Osiris's soul was a goat. Ha ha ha. Of course, these people didn't know anything. They were no good, savage Nubian. Nah. I won't allow you to do that to my ancestors that put pyramids on the ground. So I'm the type of person that I won't study a thing to break it down. I'll study a thing to build it up. So as I'm studying, I see, I literally see the goat side by side with the four ventricles, identical. I got a video up. It's called Nigga versus Nega.
Mm-hmm.
Do white people have a soul? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in that video, I have a great visual that people can use, and when you look, you're gonna be like, "Oh my goodness, that's crazy!" That's crazy. Wow. Okay, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah, I might check
So
that out.
then so it's just a lot of things that our ancestors talked about, like the divine serpent. You know what I'm saying? When you look at that system of your spine and your brain sitting in the four ventricles sealed off, it looks just like a snake. You know what I'm saying? It looks like a large version of your sperm, right? So we see how, there's a lot of things that play here that we just brush off. That's, we got to just keep saying, we just got to keep holding our ancestors in high regard and give them praise and respect. And then everything will kind of fall in order, because the moment we lose respect for their intelligence, the door opens for us to make fun and make light of things that we didn't fully understand. You know what I'm saying? But once we put that work in, it's like, oh, that's definitely another way to look at that. I can't, I done had some serious folks.
and I agree
just
with you.
Get up and walk away from me like,
I definitely agree with you on that one, but I'm still, I guess the way, from what I'm hearing, is that basically because you have discovered the soul inherently, that is the discovery of God as well. That's based off the conjunction, basically, of the brain and the spine, along with phosphorus.
No, it's based on intelligent light.
Okay.
It's based on light's ability to hold, store, and transmit information. And that is going to be technology's future. That's going to be technology's future. So we playing with it, but trust me, and this is why I told you about the fiber optics. I literally used to work at Verizon, so I know how fiber optics work. Understanding that light stores, encodes, and transmits information, without flaw, long distance, is not a new thing. That's old. Understanding that redox in phosphorus produces structured light, because that's what we're looking at when we look at a video. If we turn on our TV right now, or if you guys are on YouTube visual, people are looking at you on their screen, what they're looking at is structured light. And when I say structured light, right, I mean that, for instance, if you just look at all white light, right, that's basically a lot of different types of light, just unstructured all over the place within one flow. Mm-hmm. So it's just scattered and kind of chaotic, right? You got the chaotic waters, quote unquote, kind of action going on. When you look at your TV, everything is structured because, it's literally tons of different blends of color to bring to you the pictures. But what's happening behind the screen is phosphorus being lit by programmed electrons or photons being released, and there's nothing more complicated in any of this technology than what you have in your body. So really, the biggest jump to make is really for people to figure out how much of their body runs due to phosphorus and how many different places phosphorus is there. Like, you don't have commercials saying, gotta have milk for your calcium. I mean, for your phosphorus. Like, you don't have, doctors on Good Morning America saying, hey, well, phosphorus is a key nutrient for you to get into your daily diet, and you got to make sure you have enough levels of your phosphorus. And you just never had that conversation. It was never discussed. But for me, that was also problematic because I'm like, yo, this is probably second to iron. Like, this might be the most important. Like, this is the star of the show right here. Nothing is happening in your body without phosphorus. Like, your body literally won't even have energy to move without phosphorus. Like, your nuclear DNA won't exist. Your nuclear DNA is composed of phosphorus. Like, it's the backbone of your DNA. Like, it's literally everywhere. Your brain can't function. They're selling all of these damn nootropics, all of the brain, like, it's literally different forms of phosphorus they're selling folks. And like, so it's just a something that was sitting right there, and it's like an elephant in the room. It's literally like an elephant in the room that just nobody was touching. And I guess the people that may have known was profiting off of not mentioning it to people. And in terms of taking it to another level and being able to really create this understanding so people can have a much better relationship with themselves, first and foremost, right? How do people walk around and look for a soulmate? You don't know what a soul is. How do people hope to accomplish what they sent here for? You don't know what your essence. You don't know yourself. Like, these are the things that are incomplete to you knowing you, right? So we can't really accomplish what we're supposed to accomplish until we really know who we are. And so a lot of people start like looking at me like, okay, so are you trying to set up some new weird religion? Kind of like, nah, I just want to reinforce, like, that's never been my bag. I just want to reinforce I've always been a pro-Quran person. Mm-hmm. I've always been pro-Bible. I've always been pro-Bhagavad Gita, pro-pyramid text, pro-coffin text, pro-whatever the OGs from yonder left us to study. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go into a lot of those systems, if you look for the science, it's there. And science is universal. There's no such thing as white people science or black people science. Like, that doesn't really exist. That just shows our bias when we have those conversations. Oh yeah, that's that white people science. Really? Because I've had debates with folks and they be like, oh, you talking that white people science. And I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't you just tell me like 3 sentences ago the black man was God and the black man created everything? So how the hell does how does, now that you're losing an argument, what I'm saying become white man science? If the black man is God and created everything, I thought the science would be his. The hell is going on right here? So we kind of say things sometimes. Yeah, we kind of just say things sometimes when we're emotional to try to shift the momentum in conversations when we're trying to have that debate format in order to teach. But that's one of the shortcomings of using the debate format, is because people usually get more obsessed with winning the conversation, quote unquote, than actually communicating their core message and teaching. And then you go a step further. Once it becomes a popular thing to do, most people don't even have a core message. They're just looking for Insta fame. They just want to be hot online. You know what I'm saying? They see people on YouTube and IG, and they're like, oh, I could do what Enqi doing, or I could do what KT doing, or I could do what this guy doing. I can swag, I could be a younger version of, like. And again, back to the top of the conversation, they're not willing to. They don't stay in the studio long enough. So me, I make it my business daily, like daily. I hit this thing. I hit it like a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm about to read for 6 to 7 hours every day.
Oh shit.
So there's no way that you're catching me. There's no way you're catching me. Like, I work my mind like a bodybuilder works his pecs. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way you catching me. You know what I'm saying? If you're not already like a peer in what I do best, you're not going to catch me. Period. It's because I'm every day while you playing, I'm studying. While you studying, I'm studying. While you sleeping, I'm studying. While you this what I do. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the gifts or blessings when you get to do what it is that you love as a career, I guess I'll say, for lack of a better term, is not only do you have to do it to eat, but this is what, like for me, it's the same as turning on the Xbox. Like, people like to play 2K. I like to open up science textbooks, or I like to open up some science textbooks and then grab me a book on some ancient texts and sit there and see where I can find the science in the ancient texts that people may have been missing. Like, oh, wait a minute. So Coffin Text 1133 says, whoop, 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 the ib, this, and that. Oh, okay. So this is why when you go back to Kemet, they had two different names for the heart. They had a physical name for the heart, and then they had the ib, which revert to the magnetic field. The magnetic field of the heart was the seat of consciousness, the mind, et cetera, et cetera. And then you're looking at the weighing of the heart ceremony, and you say, oh, okay, so on one side is a little heavier than the other on the scale, because inside your chest, most people don't know, your lungs are actually heavier. Your right lung is heavier than your left lung. Mm-hmm. Your right lung has 3 lobes. Your left lung has 2.
Yes, sir.
Now, here's the flyer part. When it comes to alkaline, when it comes to pH in the blood, that 3-2 ratio is what you're supposed to have in regards to carbon dioxide, oxygen. When you have a 3-2 ratio of oxygen to carbon dioxide, you have the 7.365 pH, which is where your pH is supposed to be. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Everything the ancestors left is so right and exact. Nature's simple. Once it gets complicated, you know it's wrong. I always use that as my guide. If it gets complicated and it looks weird, then I know somewhere I messed up. Because that's how nature works. Your pH is 7.365. It could be any numbers in the world, but 7.365. Like, that's the days of the week and the days in the year. Like how would that be synchronized that way?
That is crazy.
And it just so happens that that's based on the gases that you have circulating in your blood. And the gases circulating in your blood are controlled by the lungs, and the lungs themselves are at a 3-2 ratio. And your lungs are at a 3-2 ratio because on the left side, you got 2 lobes instead of 3, because the heart has to fit in that space.
Okay.
So now when you look at it the way into the heart ceremony, you're really looking at electricity versus magnetism, which is what you're measuring with pH anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, like, everything really just kind of lines up. You know what I'm saying? Now, people just might have to spend a little bit more time understanding pH. Okay, so what's pH? Okay, so pH is hydrogen ions. Okay, hydrogen ions. So ions are, okay, another form of electricity. Okay, so I get it. So this is a charge value. Okay, boom. Electricity. Oh, okay. It starts to make sense because you let electricity, magnetic field, light. So you kind of circle back around. Like, this is what your body, this is what life is. Electricity, light, and magnetism. But we've had 20 or 30 years of various scholars, white and black, like the late, great God Ogun, who came to us in the personage of Alfredo, Dr. Sabi Bowman, right? that really drilled in the point of the body being electric. So we've had time to go through our human process with it, meaning it's radical, it's new, it's crazy. We don't believe it. We don't believe you. This is nuts, right? But then show and prove, sure enough, the body's electric, right? So we just haven't had time to deal with the body being luminous. We haven't had time to deal with that, right? But for me, I had time to digest it because I told you one of my early on discoveries was that melanin was not photosynthetic. It was photovoltaic. So for the people that don't know what photovoltaic is, photovoltaism is where a substance is able to convert light into energy, a different form of energy. So when you say that,
I hate to cut you
so when you
off,
say that, though, everybody been knew that. You're like, wait a minute. Well, Dr. Richard King told us that melanin can convert light into energy. Like, we been knew that.
Hey, bro, we got about 10 minutes
Yeah.
left. I want to make sure that people that want to support you, get your merchandise, get the books, how they do that, bro? How they contact you?
Okay, see, now this is a good part right now.
Right. I want to get it at a good space. You know?
All right. So on Instagram, it's at Dr. Enqi, Enqi. So come follow me on Instagram, please. It's at Dr. Enqi on YouTube. So subscribe to my YouTube. Please listen to my demo now. If you want to see the documentary, right? I'm doing a documentary as I'm writing the book on all this information in terms of what our systems our ancestors left us to care for our soul and build it and strengthen it, et cetera, et cetera. It's called The Soul Craft. There's 3 installments so far on YouTube. And what I'm doing is I'm literally, as I'm writing the book, I'm giving each chapter away to the people with the audio, and I'm trying my best to create visuals to drive home the points, because I know some of the science goes over a lot of people's heads. So you can check that out, The Soul Craft on YouTube, and then the website, UnitedPlatesOfAmerica.org. UnitedPlatesOfAmerica.org. Phone number 833-777-6543. 833-777-6543.
I swear I thought you was gonna be like 9311. My bad, man. It's just corny. I did though.
Hey, this is y'all off the chain, man. This is a live show.
Hey, man, we can't help it, bro. we got issues.
Man.
Yo, it's totally unintentional too, man. Like that'd be a crazy story.
Man, I had a good time.
Hey, yo, man, tell your peoples come fuck with us, man. Like, hey, bro, we definitely, man. Nick Cannon,
Nah, we
man.
got you.
Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Come holler at us, man. We need to talk, man. Ha.
Oh, Nick? Oh, man. It's hard to get at Nick.
Hey, man,
Ha is probably easier for me to communicate with than Nick, because Nick got so many different projects going on. But Ha goes through his he goes through his spurts. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I can find him, he has a house, but then sometimes he, you know, I'm on the movie set over here and I'm on the movie set over there, and I'm like, all right, nigga, hit me when you get to the crib.
Hey, I feel him though. You know, that's what you put the
But
work
I
in
just
for.
appreciate being blessed enough to know, to know some folks that's moving around and that might be able to help me at some point speak to larger audiences and communicate this message to folks that, it's safe. Like, it's safe to come out the closet. You know what I'm saying? All of the spiritual folks have been ran into the closet. They're hiding their spirituality. They're scared to say it because they don't think that you could be conscious and be Christian. They don't think you could be conscious and be Muslim. They don't think you could be conscious and you know what I mean? So I just want them to come out the closet. It's okay. I know you're still reading the Bible. Me too. I got mine open right there, right now, 24/7. I'm in it because I'm from New York, and I seen the richest people in the world studying the Bible relentlessly. So I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so hold on. I don't think anybody's paying attention. You niggas are so crazy with this Illuminati bullshit. I don't think you even listen to your rants and complaints because you hear a lot of people rant and complain, and they say, man, the Jewish people own everything. The Jewish people own the banks, and they own all the real estate, and, man, the Jewish people own everything. And anytime I see Jewish people, like the European, like the white guys with the big black hats and the little loose dreads, you know, the fake little curly dread.
Yeah.
But
they're always studying the Bible. But wait a minute. They're always studying the Bible. So I'm like, hold on. So you telling me these guys right here control all the money, and I'm looking at them. All they do all day is study this one book?
Yeah, but them niggas ain't them niggas ain't practicing that shit. Them niggas studying that shit to show off to other religious niggas.
Nah, what they're doing is digging through that book, finding things that people are missing because they're looking at that book as a math book and as a science book. We're looking at that book as a social book, meaning if we see contradictions between some of the stories about the people in there, we'll get into a debate about the contradictions in the people. We'll get into a debate about whether the people were really alive. We'll get into a debate about whether the cities really existed, but nobody's spending any time on the science and the math in that book. So when you look and you see, oh, man, so wait, the discovery for telecommunications came from Job? You know how much money is generated on internet and telephones and all of this shit? All of that's beyond trillions. Like, that's $1 trillion a year industry. So since its inception, how much money has that generated? Whatever's the next, like Googles of money, like whatever that is, Googles of money. Like, we don't even know how much zeros that is. But that came out of Job, and it's still more in there, right? So we just gotta change the way we look at it because I've had conversations where people are literally like right now we got people saying that the Bible was written by white folks, right? Now, what strikes me off with that story is the same people telling me the Bible was written by white folks just finished telling me that the Bible was copied from the pyramids. So they just finished telling me that the Bible was copied from Kemet, and now you try to tell me the Bible was written by white folks. So I'm assuming next you get ready to tell me that Kemet was all white folks.
Yeah, that's whole,
right.
That's like a whole nother ass like decade of shows.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
Before
we got to just focus in on that bag.
We definitely got to do that. But we got to wrap it up, man. Any shout outs? Anything you want to say before we dip?
Shout out everybody. Shout out Chase Million. Shout out my man Van with the van out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Shout out MJ. Shout out Architect. You know what I'm saying? That's home team. Shout out Sharita. You know what I'm saying? That's home team. My circle's small, man.
I understand.
My circle's small. So he was like, yo, you got shout outs. I got to shout out my children to make it seem like it's a bunch of people. Yo, that's my team. Like, that's how I move around. You know what I mean?
That's supposed to be, though, man.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
What you got,
But yeah,
Ron?
peace, man. It was a good show. I know y'all got to get up out of here. We got to do it again. Hit Knowledge up so we can get this back in another couple of weeks or something. We got to do this again.
Oh, no doubt, bro. Definitely enjoyed you, man. Appreciate the love and the energy and the wisdom too, bro.
No doubt, man. We're gonna put a good positive space. And oh man, hold on. I'm sorry. I need at least 60 more seconds because I got an emergency situation going on right now, and I gotta tell this to the family. Listen, I know we got a lot of positive, beautiful sisters out there. Listen, sisters, I know you conscious. The black woman is God. All that shit. I know you with it, right? But I know that y'all done developed a situation with your main boo at home, and it done led y'all to get side niggas. And I understand you got side niggas because you got niggas that got to be taken care of, and you really in love with your main boo, right? I got it. I got you. I understand what's going on. But this is why if you go to dickgods.com, right, if you go to dickgods.com right now, you can get your main boo the best Christmas gift ever, right? It's almost like loyalty in a bottle because you're going to get rid of that side nigga once main boo get that thing back together the way it is. And probably side nigga done got beside himself anyway, thinking that you really need him more than you really need him anyway. You know what I mean? So for the new year, you can get rid of side nigga, get back to the main boo. Go to dickgods.com, get that thing together. And, fellas, if you don't know where your woman is, she don't answer your call sometimes, she might be with side niggas. So you just go on ahead and treat yourself to dickgods.com. Peace to the family.
He has no idea that you are the president of Side Nigga University.
I am the CEO, president.
Hey.
I'm janitor.
Nah, man, we got to try to bring the families back together, man. I'm bringing the families back together with dickgods.com. We are waging war on side niggas right now.
Oh, God.
Yo, listen.
The holiday season is about family. We waging war on side niggas.
I'm with you, Enqi. Where do I sign up?
We got Kwanzaa. You know what I'm saying? We pick one day out of Kwanzaa. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, fool. I'm out of here, man. Y'all crazy.
All right, bro, man. Definitely appreciate you, man. Have a good one. Peace.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, what you got, Ron, before we dip?
Yo, shout out my brother, man. PFK, boom, man. Big Wolf, 300 Gangsters, man. Salute to them. Shout out Keys Development. Follow me on IG at @StrivingForPerfection_43. Shout out all the snack trucks, all the auntie built ladies out there, I love y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Lizzo. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get some squats in, baby. You know what I'm saying? Let's get a little bit of lift. You know what I mean? You in there. You know what I mean? And that's it. Holla tomorrow. We got a water cooler popping, man. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on Facebook. Like the page, subscribe and share, man. Share our shit. My skin is my friend.
All right, we out, man. Peace. And what he said. Share our shit.